Now, what if we weren't running on port 80? Because port 80 is generally accepted. You can travel from your computer into Azure fairly straightforward. Let's pick a port other than 80. So I'm going to go back to my remote desktop. I'm going to say, let's go here and say, what if it was 8011? Okay, so instead of it being a regular local host, I want to make it port 8011. Right now it fails. Let's go to the web server. I'm going to maximize this, and I'm going to say edit bindings, and I'm going to modify this from port 80 to 8011. Now the reason I want to do this is because right now there's nothing listening on 8011. If I had something that was actually listening to that port and responding to it, then I wouldn't have to do this. But I'm going to, for the sake of this argument, change the web server to listen to port 8011. So I've done that, and if I hit refresh, suddenly we're getting the web server responding on a different port. Going back to port 80, it should fail because there's nothing now responding on port 80 because I've changed it. There we go. Right. So now can we simply add this as a rule and get access to 8011 from outside? So let's go over here, say add custom port, and I want to say custom TCP 8011 allow. Okay, so this is a new rule. I want to allow traffic on that range. You'd have to do this to allow the network security rule to allow traffic through. Now, what do we think? Do we think that port 8011 will magically work? So I'm going to go over to my Firefox, and I'm going to say 8011. Okay. Now, this might be a surprising result, is that it's not going to work. Now, why is that? Now, it's actually pretty straightforward. So we are actually successfully connecting to Azure, and the network security rule is actually successfully allowing traffic to pass on port 8011. What's actually happening is that the machine is rejecting traffic on port 8011. We go back here, and we are basically not allowing traffic. So if I go in, actually I look at the Windows firewall. Can you believe Windows firewall is running on the Azure VM, and it's on according to this setting. And if we go into the inbound rules and I look at the ports, I wonder if it would work by sorting by port, but anyways, it actually does not allow port 8011 by default, and that's probably no surprise. Okay, I'm sure if we looked at the if we looked at any sort of failures, I don't know if we can get the reports. Anyways, there's no rule that allows 8011 to come into the server. So let's go and say new rule. I'm going to say I want it to be on a specific port. That port is a TCP port. I want it to be port 8011. I want to allow the connection. Doesn't matter where it comes from, so it applies to all sources, and it's going to be custom rule. Okay, you can give it whatever name you want. So now with custom rule, it's enabled first of all, and I'm allowing port 8011. It's the only enabled rule, so that makes it a lot simpler. So my custom rules here, and it allows TCP port 8011. So we close this, close that, go back here. Now we're trying to go in from outside. Will this work? Oh, it worked right away. So you need not only the NSG, but you need to change the firewall settings. Anyways, that's the two sets of videos here on terms of creating a VM and changing the security settings to allow traffic through. If you like this, please subscribe, click like, share it however you want. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and check out some other videos. Thanks.